Hello, everyone. Welcome to That Park Place Midweek Magic. I'm Marvin Movie Monster Montanero, the editor-in-chief of a little website called thatparkplace.com, and joining me, as always, from the Vash Sky Parkcast, the one and only Vash Sky.
Thanks so much for the beautiful introduction right there. I cannot wait, Marvin, to get into some of these things because we have new ride openings, we have new unveilings and so forth. Everything going on in Walt Disney World is so very interesting right now on the heels of Joe Scott actually being elevated to the presidential position. Man, there's so much to get into, Marvin.
A lot to get into, a lot to discuss, a lot to unravel, as it were, and I think we are just the duo to do it. But Vash, also got to say a hefty congratulations to you, passing 5,000 subscribers over on Vash Sky Parkcast. What a monumental feat in such a short amount of time. I mean, you are doing some amazing work over there.
It has surprised even me, and I have to give it up to every single subscriber out there, every single viewer out there. Thank you so much for really being part of that first 5,000 club. We're actually on the way to 6,000, so I was like, oh, we gotta get this 5K party celebration out there, which we'll be celebrating after that Park Place. So stick around; it'll be redirected after the conclusion of this show right here.
Yep, absolutely, guys. But first, we got some super chats we got to get to, Vash, because our folks out there are being very generous this morning, packing protons for 5. There's 2 things tomorrow can do to signal boost the end of the Iger era. 1, Zippity Doodah return. 2, restore the Muppet Courtyard. I could see Zippity Doodah getting reworked into something in the future, maybe. But he's not going to restore the Muppet Courtyard. They've already torn it up. They don't go back. They don't, it's the only hope that we had for a Muppetvision return was for them to get rid of that villain show and maybe move the Muppet Courtyard over there. But I personally don't think that's going to happen based on things that we're seeing, regarding what we're going to talk about today with Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. Juliet for £2 says, evening That Park Place in chat. Evening to you, Juliet. Just a Dutchie with 10 That Park Place memberships. Wow.
Fantastic.
Just right off the bat, 10 memberships. Thank you. Congrats to those members out there. And then Snarky, the Stink, with 5 That Park Place memberships. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Snark Dog.
Not to be outdone.
Incredible. So that's 15 memberships already, Vash. How high can we get? How many new members can we get by the end of this? Can we get to 100? Probably not. But let's see. Let's see how high we can get it.
57 miles per hour for the Rock and Roller Coaster.
Right? Maybe. Packing protons for 5. Illegal aliens spotted smoking and flipping off tourists dressed as Minnie Mouse in Disney World. I don't know if that was in Disney World.
Yeah. Vegas, maybe? No.
I've seen like the Minnie Mouse like smoking and flipping people off from Times Square. Like those aren't Disney performers. That's like people that dress up in costumes and go to Times Square and try to charge people for photos. But
Hollywood Boulevard, I've seen some similar stuff there.
Exactly. It's the same on the East Coast as it is on the West Coast, I guess. But Vash, we have got a whole lot to discuss today. So without any further ado, actually a little bit of ado because I did not set it up correctly. Let's get into what is going on over with the Muppets. Here we go. We are just a few days away from the official grand opening of Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets, and there's a whole lot to talk about. From repurposed animatronics to brand new state-of-the-art animatronics, this ride is coming alive with Muppety goodness, both for good and for bad. What does this mean for fans of Muppetvision 3D who may have been holding on to hope? Find out today on That Park Place. All right, here we go, Vash. New Rock and Roller Coaster joke at the end pays homage to the classic Statler and Waldorf joke. So, Disney recently shared a preview of Rock and Roller Coaster, which features Statler and Waldorf returning in new scenes created for the attraction. During the preview, the pair repeat a variation of their longtime bolted to the seats joke. In the preview, Statler comments, this concert reminds me of a roller coaster. It's all downhill. No! And then they ask if they can go to the bathroom, which Statler replies, we can't, you old fool. We're bolted to the seats.
Yeah, I think he says that we've been bolted for decades or something.
Maybe. But man, like this, I think I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, yay!" I wasn't one of them because I was like, any hope that I had that Muppet Vision was coming back is now gone.
Yeah,
Just completely
yeah.
gone.
A lot of the propping as well, it looks to be transferred over here, and there were many of in-joke made of Muppet Vision 3D, which is unfortunate to see, given that, like you said, it's probably unlikely that these will return. Now, the Statler
Right.
Waldorf thing, pretty cool that they dressed them very similar to how they actually were in Muppet Vision 3D. Very, very good reference there, I think. But the disappointing thing here, Marvin, at least when examining the POVs, now you're going to play it on a video that shows
Yeah,
it
let's see.
not when you're actually on the ride, but on the side, right?
Right.
Here it looks pretty good, but when you're on the ride, I mean, I've not seen a POV that has caught them talking to you directly.
Yeah.
I just see them passing by.
You know, this concert reminds me of a roller coaster.
How's that?
It's all downhill.
Also, did you notice how like they're not really like moving, just kind of their heads are going like this? Like that's not great. Like they were gesturing and stuff in Muppet Vision.
And they're like a screen, right? It's not like audio animatronic characters.
I think they are audio animatronics, aren't they?
Really?
Be here.
It looks like it's the audio animatronics.
Just don't
Yeah,
understand
that's
why
audio
they even
animatronics.
bought tickets.
We have time to go to the bathroom before the next song?
We can't, you old fool. We're bolted to the seats.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are the actual animatronics from Muppet Vision.
Really? Wow,
That's what it looks like to me.
That's
But now,
interesting. Okay.
Some other things they've included the Jim Henson Muppet in there, which I was just like, oh, all right, I guess that lives there now. And it's like this isn't a ride that I ever like I'm gonna frequent because I don't like upside downy roller coasters. So like to me, it's just like, all right, well, I've lost all this stuff now.
Man, that's most unfortunate right there.
Yeah. But you know what? Let's take a look at a full ride POV. So this one is from the DSNY
Sure.
newscast. And you see outside here the Swedish Chef food by Swedish Chef, which we talked about recently, as well as the gaudy guitar that they have out there, which I mean,
with the,
that is really
There's a lot of gray there. A lot of gray.
yeah, it's not great, not great.
Yeah.
So going in, all right, we've got these here. We've got these posters, Electric Mayhem posters, horns 24/7. Can you picture this? Wait, what for Zoot? You know, these look cool. I like this. This is a it's a cool thing. We're going inside.
Mhm.
All right, I'm going to turn on the sound here just so that we can get.
Right.
All right,
This is
that's
the
cool.
setup.
I like the live cam. I like the Uncle Deadly there, the Robin the Frog.
Now, apparently, in this space, they filmed 30 minutes worth of Muppet material in order to set up the story that the Muppets or the Mayhem they're supposed to put on a concert for you, and they can't find them. Now,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken, Marvin, you passed by this pretty quickly, so I do wonder why the length provided here.
I mean, maybe if this is the queue, isn't it? Like, so it seems like maybe this would be like an area where you could be stuck.
I suppose so. I just don't remember being stuck there that often in this
It's been a
particular
long time
room.
since I've ridden
Maybe
this
I'm wrong.
ride. Probably a decade since I've ridden this ride. So
I see.
it's a Muppet thing. It's got Danny Trejo in it. Here we go. He sounds so terrible.
Oh, it's really bad.
I mean, yes, like newsflash, new Kermit voice is terrible, but it's still terrible. It has not gotten any better.
No, that's the voice of Kermit now.
All right, so we've got Kermit's banjo. Looks like Piggy's dress. Instruments. That's pretty neat. I like that. Drums.
Those instruments apparently were used by the band in filming of previous Muppet episodes.
Okay.
So those are authentic props right there. Some of them are recreations. That's a nice little detail.
Like
there.
were they from like you know, like the Muppet movie, or were they from like that Electric Mayhem Disney Plus show that nobody watched?
I think they predate the Muppet Mayhem show, but I think the Imagineers were just saying that those were authentic props actually used by the puppeteers themselves in order to create the band.
Okay, now this is neat. Right away, I like the penguins at the mixing board. I think that's pretty cool. They're using the screen to show the Mayhem band, which is great. But this scooter animatronic, we really got to focus on that because it's amazing.
Yes.
Welcome. You'll please keep your big ball away across the room and is easily distracted. So don't flash your phone
Just
or
practicing
lighting.
here.
And please do not sit and stand or on the handrail.
There's no sound from it. Oh, okay. There we go. That is
Hey, penguin, how's that sound?
I love the penguins. I like that the penguins have some fish chilling in a bucket there.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch.
The penguins are cool. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of a difference between the actions of the penguins, which are pretty, they're pretty simplistic, versus Scooter.
They're going like this, basically.
Right. So a couple motions right there, but Scooter, like you said, is really the
let's take a look.
Point
We're
here.
already very late. Whoa, look at all the looky-loos. Oh, hey, the VIP tour. Welcome, everyone. What's happening? Hey,
That's a phenomenal animatronic.
Yeah.
I got to hand it to the man. That is a really good animatronic. I am all in on that one. That's well done, Disney Imagineers. Like, that scooter looks great. Obviously, I would prefer the original scooter on a television screen from Muppetvision 3D, which was actually the voice of the late great Richard Hunt. But beggars, choosers, and whatnot.
Apparently, they filmed Scooter. They filmed a puppeteer actually working him and mocapped him, and so when recreating him in animatronic form, you're really getting almost a 1-to-1 of the puppeteer actually doing it, which is a very interesting thing because that's not quite the way they did the original Muppets for like Muppetvision 3D, for example, the animatronic Muppets anyway. I think Jim Henson likened him to like really coming to life, right? And he thought that the animatronic technology was fantastic for his Muppets in order to remove some of the limitations. But here they've really gone kind of puppeteer Muppet heavy, which I guess provides some consistency between the Muppets that you actually see on screen and him. Is that kind of what they were going for?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. Let's see here.
Okay.
Here's Terrible Kermit.
Wait, you have been at the studio this whole time?
Indeed. We've been rehearsing for the big show.
We're at the big show, and you were due on stage hours ago. Hey,
I couldn't do a Kermit that bad if I tried.
Yeah, it's
Like,
really
I've
good.
tried to like do the Matt Vogel Kermit, and I can't. Like, because it's just like I always just sound too much like Kermit when I try to do it.
Why did you tell us we was late?
But Gonzo.
great crowd. They love my stall
That is
tactics.
really there. That's cool. Chickens.
They can't get enough. I'm going
Now
back
that screen changes, so whatever character's up there right now, like Gonzo, for example, that will change.
Oh,
I
might
think
not be
Swedish
Gonzo.
Chef.
Yeah, might not be Gonzo.
Yeah.
We don't know how much longer these crowds are going to wait.
Don't worry,
This is a long
the
pre-show.
mayhem will be there.
Good. I have no idea.
Right. Oh, there's Beaker. Okay. That was cool. I like that.
Dr. Honeydew.
Oh, excuse us. Beaker and I were just testing the latest innovation from Muppet Labs. The lengthy immediate motion object.
Limo.
Okay.
It's pronounced limo, actually. Nobody's going to get the van here. Factoring in the current traffic conditions.
You got a bit to
Okay.
have.
We got fast forward.
Gang, we got places to be and people to.
All right. So there's our inciting event of the attraction.
Right.
Now we're all going to go through and get on the ride. Okay, there goes the cows and the chickens. So they're doing the fate like the Swedish Chef, the preview. they're just like, if you want Muppet Vision gags so much, you shouldn't have gotten rid of Muppet Vision.
I know, it's very...
Like, they're trying so hard to force Muppet Vision into this. I'm like, you didn't have to get rid of it. You could have had this and that. And then we'd be celebrating this entirely. And we are, don't get me wrong, we're celebrating some aspects of this. Because this is actually very well done. Especially this pre-show. Very well done.
Yeah. Objectively, the best thing about this review, no question about it. This was actually done pretty well. I will say there are Muppet Vision 3D references here, outside of even when you were talking about them.
We're about to see some.
Sure.
There's Sweetums coming through. All right, so we're gonna see some props here. I believe some of these are Muppet Vision. There's the limo. You can see it take off. All right, so they've redone. Yeah, they've redone the cars.
Repainted the cars in order to make them consistent with the color that we actually see in the intro. A lot of propping here. Lots of stuff, lots of references. We get the screen there.
Yep.
So the old digital marquee is gone.
Yep. There's that 0 to 60 launch.
Right.
Takes you right into an inversion. Squeakers, that's funny. See, now this is all Muppet Vision stuff.
Yeah.
Like that great Gonzo banner is a Muppet Vision thing. Gonzo's weird stuff, that's from Muppet Vision. All of the red, white, and blue Sam stuff, that's all from Muppet Vision. That takes me off. How dare you stand where he stood?
This stuff was pretty clever here.
Yeah. Oh, there's the phenomenon. Okay. Oh, look, that's the Muppet Mobile Lab.
Yep, the old Muppet Mobile Lab, which...
That's cool. That's cool they included that.
Absolutely. Apparently that was from the Imagineering Archives right there. That is a mobile lab that toured Epcot and Disney California Adventure back in the day, which is pretty good. You know.
Now, Vash, some people might not know what the Muppet Mobile Lab is. You want to explain it?
Yes. This was kind of part of their living character initiative that they had for a while. The idea is to have like roaming audio animatronics that interacted with the audience and so forth. So it started at Epcot. Man, I want to say, what is it, mid-2000s perhaps is where the Muppet Mobile Labs kind of has its origins right there. I don't remember the exact dates.
Let's have a look-see.
Please, go ahead.
There it is.
Yeah, the idea was to have like free roaming audio animatronics to really liven up spaces and so forth.
And they would actually speak. It was the same technology as Push.
Right.
They'd actually talk to you.
Yep. They would actually talk to you, interact with you. Some of these would have games and so forth with them, which pretty cool. And again, you could find this various times at both Epcot and Disney California Adventure, which was really, really awesome.
I never caught it live, not once. I lived here during some of the time, so yeah, they included the Muppet Mobile Lab. I think that's a really cool inclusion.
I agree.
Also, proof that they're never gonna actually bring that back ever.
Nope, it's gonna be right there.
Yep. This is where
most
it lives
unfortunate
now.
thing about this, right?
Yep. I loved the Living Character Initiative.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did away with it.
No, kind of weird how they got rid of Mickey as well.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on them getting rid of Talking Mickey. Like, there was nothing wrong with Talking Mickey. I don't understand why they got rid of it.
I
I
my
assumed
research,
that we were going to get more. I thought we were going to get Talking Minnie, Donald, Goofy.
Right.
I thought that was all coming, but then apparently not. So.
I guess they wanted consistency between characters is what I gathered.
Well, then do more of it. Like, I don't know. All right, so here's the POV. Zero to 60, right into an inversion. Of course, right now this just looks like a whole lot of darkness.
Right, and the song playing on DSNY Newscast's POV was a roller coaster, I believe.
Mm-hmm. something like that.
Something
I'll kill
like
it
that,
just.
yeah.
I'll kill that just in case the music hits the copyright. But there's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Pizza
yeah.
Rizzo sign.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got? All right, there's
Speaker
that.
up there.
Yeah. Again, just like it's such a way. I feel like it's just there's the fork in the road from Muppet Movie. I just feel like it's kind of a waste because like they're not a roller coaster type property, you know? Like I don't know.
This was always a weird inclusion to me. I understand
Yeah.
it was kind of a make good for getting rid of Muppetvision 3D that the Muppets would be featured somewhere. It's just I don't know if they really fit this attraction.
Probably not. I mean, yeah. Also, did you notice no Piggy at all in this?
Yeah, there's like one Miss Piggy reference.
Yeah, we just saw it. They just passed
right.
underneath it. And
I
there was
mean,
a dress
blink and
in
you
the-
miss it though. That's the
Yeah.
only Miss Piggy reference that we actually see outside of her dress in the pre-show.
Right. All right. So now we've arrived at the Electric Mayhem concert, I guess. So are we actually going to say? Oh, and then there's Statler and Waldorf. Yep.
But they're not talking to you as you're passing
they're
by.
not. They're not talking, and they're just going right by them.
So, as far as overlays go, right? Is it better than Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith? I think it is, but I would
Honestly, I would agree with that. I would say yes, it is.
Yeah.
There's the Jim
Yeah.
Henson.
There's a Jim Henson reference right there. I would have expected to be, now that we're over 25 years on. The disappointment that I have is outside of the pre-show and outside of some propping, there really wasn't anything to really elevate the experience. They could have very easily maybe redone the trains, for example, maybe new restraints, because that head knocking still exists on this very tired track. And that could have been alleviated a little bit with maybe a new restraint system or something to really kind of elevate this experience. Unfortunately, they didn't pursue much of that. I just think this. Oh, go ahead, please.
I will say, while I do not think that this was necessary, I think they did a good job with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I have issues with it from a perspective of like, I miss Muppet Vision 3D. It was my favorite thing ever. But yeah. I
would have liked them to have gone farther. I think
what would you have done differently?
I think I would have maybe switched out the props, maybe inside, maybe not have it as dark as it previously was. Would have been cool to like go through, I don't know, a lava lamp or something, or really kind of something pretty trippy, especially with modern visual effects and so forth.
Right.
They didn't really do that. They just kind of reused all of the propping that was already there for Aerosmith, added a couple of things, but not anything really substantial. I would have loved to have seen redone. Maybe a track is too much, but maybe redone trains. That would have been very, very cool. It's just basically the same experience, just with them up an overlay, which I suppose that's what to expect. But I just would have loved to have seen them gone farther with it. Is kind of my only issue with it. The pre-show, objectively the best thing that they've done. Far better than I think the original Aerosmith pre-show was. Much
Way
more
better.
engaging, much
Way
more
better.
fun. Right. Because, as fond as we might have memories of, when it comes to that original pre-show, it's a little bit tired 25 years on.
No,
So
I
they
agree.
really did improve that. It moves a little fast, but maybe that's for the best.
It's a glorious 3-hour finale. You got a minute and a half.
And ended.
Yeah, it is about a minute and a half. So man, like I think they did a really nice job with this, but again, I think I would like it a lot more if they hadn't gotten rid of Muppet Vision. If this was like, 'cause I remember when the Electric Mayhem show came out, there were rumors like, oh, well, what if they, what if they retooled Rock and Roller Coaster to the Electric Mayhem? And I went, yeah, okay, that'll happen. And then when it happened, I was like, I wonder if that was the plan back then, or if it was just like, hey, this was a fan groundswell movement. We do have to get rid of Aerosmith, so why don't we just do this to make them happy because we're taking away Muppet Vision?
Right.
Look, at the end of the day, if they announce that they are removing the villains show that no one likes, which I mean, typically a show like that, you got to figure it's going to be around for at least 3 to 5 years. If they announce they're removing that show and they're replacing it with Muppet Vision 3D, a newly, revamped and retooled theater to play the original movie with nothing added or anything like that, I will be over the moon. And I'll be like, this has become a great area of the park. because now
Absolutely.
you've got a Muppets ride and a Muppets eater, like little snack bar, and a Muppets show. It'll be a little Muppet land at that point, which they love their themed lands. Do I think they're actually going to do that? No, I don't, especially not with them having repurposed all this stuff. Now, that being said, those Statler and Waldorf animatronics, not the most expensive animatronics in the world.
Yeah.
You could recreate them probably at limited cost. But I don't know, man. I don't think they would. I really don't think they will. So
I think
unfortunately, guys, I think this is the Muppets that we've got.
Yeah, and I think the best we can hope for, even if they do bring back Muppetvision 3D, obviously a lot of the original propping has been, reworked, so we can restore those. Maybe we can expect screens on the side rather than actual animatronics. I think it would be in a diminished form, but it would be really cool to get at least a showcase of that back in some form. And I think to your point, Marvin, I think it would live on better than maybe the villain show currently does. But that's the best we can hope for right there.
That villain show is terrible. It is terrible. And yes, there'd be a cost in reshaping the theater, but you got to figure that Muppetvision 3D is going to be, first of all, it'll be wildly popular when it reopens because everyone will miss it. But secondly, it's going to be way cheaper to produce. There's no live, there's only one live performer in Sweetums. And, it's not going to have all of the crazy special effects that they have to use every day for the villain show.
Yeah, I mean, there are ways to bring it back. Maybe in a diminished state, maybe in a better state. I'm not sure, but it would be really cool if they make this kind of like a real Muppet area, like you said, Marvin, to have 2 attractions right there. I think maybe even Jim Henson would be proud of that. But I suppose we'll see. Right now, this is kind of it's just really disappointing that Muppetvision 3D had to be the sacrifice for this. For this specific attraction right here, I think better than Aerosmith, but again, only just.
Absolutely. All right, Vash, we have got a few super chats to get to here. Packing Protons for 2 says, Marvin tagged you in the mini video. I do not have time to look at that right now, Packing Protons, but I will look at it later. You know what? Why not? I'll look at it right now. I'll check it on my phone, and if it's anything, that I think is actually... that is not at Disneyland. Just look, Packing Brother. Just look at the costume. It's also very clearly not in Walt Disney World. It's on the side of a road. No, Packing Brother. This is not Disney World. It is a guy on the side of a road doing a charging for photos. Laslud for $9.99. Daughter and I got to meet Talking Mickey at Magic Kingdom on our last trip with annual passes. No idea he was active, and it was a wonderful surprise. Not giving them any money since they destroy everything. Yeah, man, I get it. I get it, brother. I get it. I don't blame you for not wanting to give him any money. But, I still give him some. I don't go nearly as much as I used to. I have been to Hollywood Studios one time since Muppetvision closed. And so it's
really?
It's about a year. Like one time in the last year. I have no desire to be anywhere near it.
Well, I mean, what are they really offering? I mean, even in this case, right? Even if it's retheming from Aerosmith to Muppets, it's basically the same ride. So even if you do go down to see it, it's kind of a one and done. In your case, you don't like roller coasters with inversions. Again, that doesn't necessarily appeal to you. So I can certainly see why people might, give this park a pass, which is a shame.
Packing Protons for 2 says, haven't been to Walt Disney World since the 90s. What do I know? Well, hopefully enough to know that a highway doesn't run through the middle of it. But
Packing Protons, it's okay, man. Don't worry about it.
All right. Vash, you ready to get on to our next story? Because it's a doozy. Guys, we're learning about the Star Wars that could have been, and we may have all dodged a pretty big blaster bolt.
It's showtime! Straight from the heart of the park!
As Disney is currently retooling Star Wars to move away from the sequel trilogy, as original trilogy characters flood into Galaxy's Edge, which is now finally drawing people, we are learning just exactly how bad it might have been. Damon Lindelof, J.J. Abrams' disciple himself and original writer for the Rey movie, is talking about what his vision for the film was, and man, oh man, it sounds an awful lot like you were going to be the villain. Let's talk about it today on That Park Place. Vash, this is ridiculous. So Damon Lindelof said that his Rey movie would have explored the divide between old and new Star Wars fans. That's exactly what we want. This bald J.J. Abrams disciple just spewing all over the fandom again.
This very meta concept, this very contemporary concept. Let's go ahead and involve that into Star Wars, right?
Yes.
You know, it used to be all mysticism and, Joseph Campbell. Do away with that. Let's go ahead and talk about the fandom. It's like, okay, what a choice.
Hold on one second. I have to reshare the screen there because the audio wasn't going to come through, and I did want to play his actual
comments
clip.
on the podcast there.
Yeah, because it's just insane. So again, guys, this is
wild.
Damon Lindelof, who is one of the writers on Lanterns currently. He is one of. So here's the thing, guys. J.J. Abrams is a atrocious hack. He had one decent Star Trek movie before torpedoing the franchise. Then he moved on to Star Wars like a plague of locusts, devoured the entirety of the Star Wars concept through the sequel trilogy. But here's the thing about JJ. From JJ, much like the very concept of sin in Final Fantasy X, smaller, lesser hacks fell off of him and have infected Hollywood. So the two guys currently just taking a machete to Tolkien's legacy over at Rings of Power, they're J.J. Abrams' disciples. Damon Lindelof is another J.J. Abrams disciple. So let's take a look at what was said here. Former Rey movie writer Damon Lindelof, one of many fired writers from this project, by the way, has finally revealed what his version of the film was going to be about. And reading between the lines, it sounds remarkably similar to the kind of toxic fandom discourse that many longtime Star Wars fans have grown exhausted by over the last decade. Let's take a look.
And just to talk about the bantha in the room, I was fired off of a Star Wars movie. So asking me, they asked me, what do you think a Star Wars movie should be? And I said, here's what it should be. And they said, great, you're hired. And then 2 years later, I was fired. And so I was wrong, at least through that prism. But what we were attempting to do, my partner, Justin Brick Gibson and Raina McClendon and I, what we were attempting to do was to have this conversation in the movie, which is to say there is a force of nostalgia and there is a force of revision. And they are at odds with one another. And let's do.
Oh. A force of nostalgia and a force of revision, and they are at odds with each other. Hold on, he's not done.
Do the Protestant Reformation inside Star Wars. And,
hold on, I have to go back because that.
And they are at odds with one another. And let's do the Protestant Reformation inside Star Wars.
The Protestant Reformation?
What?
That's what everyone's like, I really, really like Star Wars, but what it really needs is we need to reenact the Protestant Reformation within Star Wars. That's what it's got to be.
Not good, man. That is.
Oh, this guy's such a hack.
Go ahead.
And it didn't work.
Sounds amazing.
And so you kind of get.
And the host is like, "Oh, it sounds amazing." No, it doesn't. Sounds like hackery.
You have your cake and eat it too, but the conversation that the fandom is having without winking and looking at the audience,
I'm sorry, without winking and looking at the audience? How is this anything but winking and looking at the audience?
And that didn't feel necessarily that risky. And I may have been fired, not just because they seemed to like the premise. It was just.
Oh, I'm sure they liked the premise. Anything that craps on Star Wars fans, Kathleen Kennedy was all about.
The writing was really hard. It was slow, the tone, getting it right.
Because writing movies is hard.
Where it was inside of the canon, what its relationship was to episode 9. Is it starting a new trilogy? Is it all of those things? They're so massive. They're so big. It's to say this thing, it's the old sort of like tanker equation, which is you turn the wheel and it takes 5 minutes before it turns a little bit like this. And so I think that idea of like, we're looking for the center of Star Wars. And when episode 7 came out, we all knew what it was. It was Rey and it was Finn and it was Poe. And it was like all these, we were migrating back in Luke and Leia and Han and Chewie and all those guys. But we've got the sense that when this new trilogy was over, we were going to be launching with these new characters, and that was the center of Star Wars.
So I've seen people like, they're like, well, he didn't say what the narrative was going to be about old Star Wars versus new Star Wars. I'm like, yes. Let's just imagine what this script would have been. The J.J. Abrams disciple, who is giving a entire speech here on the very concept of old fans versus new fans. What side do you think he comes down on, Vash? Who do you think is going to end up being the villain of that story?
Oh, well, it's probably going to be another Ryan Johnson, if the kill the past if you have to kind of thing, right? I would imagine it would be that, because he goes on to say that Rey, Finn, and Poe were going to be the stars of that film. So one could presume that they were going to favor the revisionism versus the nostalgia.
Yeah, you'd think, wouldn't you? Unbelievable, man. So I mean, look, the very idea of the Star Wars sequels has been incredibly divisive since The Last Jedi, right? So JJ played it completely safe, and it's from what I'm hearing, from what these Mandalorian what these Mandalorian reviews are saying right now, and I'm gonna just check Rotten Tomatoes real quick because I want to see what the Mandalorian and Grogu is. Right now, the Mandalorian and Grogu on Rotten Tomatoes is sitting at 61%. Which is, so it was at 60 earlier. It has been teetering from 60 to 61 as more reviews come in. But I mean, man, it is on the razor's edge of being rotten.
Well, yeah, it started out at 54%.
Yeah, 54, 58, yeah. 58 was the lowest that I had seen it. But yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't 54. It probably was when it first started. It is crazy. Just the kind of, I thought for sure that the critics were going to glaze this because it's Disney, and they were going to glaze this because it's Star Wars, and they're not doing that. Because Star Wars, I've learned that there's two things they will do with Star Wars. It's either going to be a completely toothless, cowardly, retread, nostalgia bait movie put up there for popcorn and whatever, or it's going to take a baseball bat to George Lucas's entire lore and utterly destroy it. So it's either going to be The Force Awakens or it's going to be The Last Jedi. It's going to be Skeleton Crew or it's going to be The Acolyte. There's no in between. It's either we play it wildly safe or we reshape what the Force is.
Absolutely. There's no question about that. Maybe that's why critics didn't actually appreciate this outing right here, because from what I can surmise from the multiple reviews I've read, Marvin, is that it didn't do either. It just kind of sat within its own universe, didn't really have any stakes involved, and just kind of had a series of adventures play out that a lot of people are saying is just a combination of 3 or 4 episodes of what was going to be season 4. That's kind of how it plays. And so maybe that's why the critics are kind of like, this is kind of nothing. Right. It doesn't necessarily rethink the universe. Obviously, doesn't add its own kind of notch into it. Right. Doesn't really carve out its own space. Just kind of lives in this universe. Doesn't really connect to anything more substantial. So look, I mean, the reviews have been unbelievably harsh, Marvin. I mean, some of the most scathing reviews I've ever read for any Disney product ever. Connecting to this, I mean, read The Independent. I think that the first line in that is, "Hey, can we just do away with Star Wars altogether?
Yeah, stick a fork in it. Stick a fork in it. It's done." It has been horrific reviews. But let me tell you something: if they had made this Damon Lindelof Rey movie,
right,
the critics would have been in love with it.
Absolutely, yeah,
100%. They would have been doing backflips for it because it attacks the fans, and that's what they want.
They love it when they attack the fan. Yep. I mean, look at The Last Jedi, right? A lot of critics, especially at the time, were just overwhelmingly praising that thing because it did take such a hard look at the established fandom, the established kind of norms, traditions, and so forth. It was kind of the ultimate subversion piece. So they really, really loved that. And so I could imagine that Damon Lindelof's script, like you said, would have been highly praised for having done that. And by the way, that was supposed to be the first movie before Mandalorian and Grogu. Mandalorian and Grogu was supposed to sit in the middle. I believe in 2026, 2025 was supposed to have the Rey movie. 2027 was supposed to have the James Mangold movie.
Right.
And so a lot of people are like, wow, this is the first outing after 7 years of not being on screen. This is really disappointing. It wasn't supposed to be this way. They, unfortunately for Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they got stuck with it. Got this time slot in here. Well, there you go. Go ahead.
And even, you even have, what's his face? Jon Favreau saying he's not sure why this was a movie.
Because they needed one.
Like he doesn't know why it's a movie. And then when he's asked the question, he does come up with an answer. But the answer is not because we had a story that needed to be told theatrically. We needed IMAX to tell the grandeur of this story because, it demanded it. We had such huge ambitions that just, needed to move from the small screen to the big screen. His response was, the baby's cute. That's why they wanted it to be a movie. It's probably because of Grogu, because he's everywhere. And I'm like, well, you know what, Jon Favreau? I give you credit because you were honest with us.
Yes.
It's insane. But this Rey movie, the Rey movie was supposed to be the backbone of the next era of Kathleen Kennedy storytelling.
Right.
She pulled Daisy Ridley up on so there were all of those rumors flying around before that Star Wars Celebration that this was going to be the Viking funeral and she was out the door and Bob had a boot on the back of her head just kicking her out the door like as this was going in. This was going to be a celebration of her career so that she could ride off into the sunset. Well, she came out there and we had gotten, Pro had gotten word, that Park Place had gotten word that, that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is she's going to announce a Rey movie and bring Daisy Ridley on stage. And we took a lot of flack for that when we reported it. And what happened? Well, she brought Daisy Ridley on stage and announced a Rey movie. And then Charmin Obaid-Chinoy would not shut her mouth for the next 3 weeks about how it's about time that a woman is able to, to tell the story. And I'm like, a woman's been telling the story for a decade. Like, what are you talking about? She said that, and then she said that she was most looking forward to exploring Rey's role as a female Jedi.
What?
I bet you I could I could draw you a picture of what the bad guy of that movie looks like.
We can all imagine what the bad guy in that movie would look like, Marvin. No picture required.
We could draw it, and it'd be 100% accurate. And then it just, here it is. It's proof that Kathleen Kennedy had learned nothing from the collapse of the sequel trilogy. And everyone's always like, how did you say the sequel trilogy collapsed? It made all this money at the box office. Yes, it made less money with each subsequent offering. Solo lost money. And The Rise of Skywalker cost $600 million to make, which means that with marketing and theater splits, it also most likely lost money despite making over $1 billion.
Correct.
So, yes, the sequel trilogy did collapse, and the entirety of Star Wars as a fandom collapsed. The entire cultural conversation shifted away from Star Wars as a result of it. And her response was, I'm going to bring back Rey, one of the most deeply unpopular characters that's ever existed in cinema. I'm going to pair her with a feminist activist director who has only ever done documentaries and a few episodes of Ms. Marvel, the lowest watched Marvel show at the time. But don't worry, all records are meant to be broken. I'm going to pair it with her, the woman who says that it's her job to make men uncomfortable. And I'm going to hire the Padawan of the guy who tanked the sequel trilogy.
This is a fantastic recipe for box office success, Marvin. Come on,
Utter
remember
disaster.
yeah, exactly.
It's a trap.
There you go. No, Marvin, they were actually saying that Rey was the most valuable cinematic asset, don't you see? So we have to go ahead and reincorporate her and make her a big deal. Marvin, they're pivoting away from Rey in the theme parks. What does that tell you? Like, that tells
Exactly.
you that, you know,
It's not, and of course they haven't gotten rid of her. They just kind of pushed her into a corner.
yes. Yes, they
She
did.
used to have free roam from the entrance to the land over by Rise of the Resistance all the way to the Millennium Falcon. And now she's crammed into that one tiny little area so that the actual characters of Star Wars can meet and greet. Because, man, like for the I can't tell you how many times I saw Rey in Galaxy's Edge with no one around her. Literally
Correct.
just walking around just like a normal guest, and people did not care. Maybe once in a while a kid will come up to her because their parents are like, go see that character. Look, I'd rather you meet this character than us have to wait 45 minutes to go meet Sorcerer Mickey. So, I never had anyone with her. Even Chewie, Chewie was getting the stink on him by association. You'd think people would want Chewie.
You would think so, but unfortunately, without Han or Leia or anybody else that is highly recognizable with Chewie, well, he's great for maybe the first month or so, and then it's like, okay, we've seen him, we want to go ahead and move on to the characters that we all know and love. And this was consistent with Kathleen Kennedy's principle of, well, there are more Star Wars stories ahead of us than behind us and so forth, but well, apparently not. And so, if they would have had this Rey movie come out, if they would have had this revisionistic take on this material right here, I do kind of wonder what the future of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge would have been with that whole undercurrent right there. I do think Star Wars is moving in a better direction now than it was before, but it just kind of underscores how badly this thing went off the rails right here. This is a $4 billion franchise, and yet we're going to have maybe the second Star Wars film actually lose money at the box office, which is a big shame. And then you have people like Variety putting out pieces like, hey, does Star Wars belong on the small screen rather than the big one? It is crazy where we've moved.
There was a time, Vash, where the idea of Star Wars on the small screen was unthinkable, and yet here we are.
Yeah.
And it's because of nonsense decisions by Kathleen Kennedy, by people like Damon Lindelof. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. But we're gonna see what happens with the Mandalorian and Grogu coming up this weekend. I am seeing it on Thursday afternoon. So actually, that's tomorrow. I'm gonna see it tomorrow afternoon. Right after, so I'm going to be on the pro show tomorrow at noon, and then I'll be leaving around 1:30 to head out and see the movie. Then I'll have the M4 cast at 8, where I'll give some light thoughts, and then I'll be on pros. I'll be on the pro show at 10, where we will be giving full review of the movie.
Cannot wait.
Yep. So be there, guys, because it's going to be a wild, wild time. Oh man, I mean, between situations like what we're seeing with these things that are coming out about what was supposed to have been versus what we have currently. I actually started watching The Mandalorian last night. I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes. I got halfway into the first Cara Dune episode. That was actually a really good show.
Great show.
Until they destroyed it in season 3.
Oh, man. I mean, those first 2 seasons were actually pretty strong. I actually think there were portions of 1 that were stronger than 2. 2 had certainly some highlights, though. Just a really, really a fun show, smart show. It was just kind of contained and didn't really have to do any heavy lifting for the entire franchise. But once it did, then it really went off the rails.
When I saw season 3, I was like,
Travis Disney! You were the chosen one!
There you go.
Yep, exactly. First 2 seasons were amazing. All right, some super chats we got to get to. WJB Daily became a member of the That Park Place channel. Thank you very much for the membership. I hope you enjoy it. You'll be catching a whole bunch of awesome exclusive content. Metalcore Breakdown for 199 says, thankfully, Muppets still there and not Rivers 2.0. Yes, the Muppets are still in the park in a manner of speaking. They're not the original voices or anything like that, but they are technically still there. Ken Reihard for 2 says, maybe we should nail a script to Lucasfilm's door. Yes, the 95 plot holes. The Protestant Revolution. Just a Dutchie for €6 is courtesy of Pro. TPP Pro. The goal here is give hosts, if we get 10 of these $5 or more super chats, hosts will give predictions for Mandalorian and Grogu first weekend box office results. So good. I'm ready to give my opinion on this.
Fantastic. Worldwide or domestic?
We'll go domestic.
We'll go domestic. Okay.
We can try both. We can try to do both.
We can try.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I don't even know the context of this, but I just saw this and I was like, what?
Everything's better with Lizzo in it.
Nothing has ever been better with Lizzo in it.
No.
Oh my goodness. Well, speaking of things that would not be better with Lizzo in it, we have got to do a story about Avatar. Which would not be good with Lizzo in it. So let's get to the next scoop.
There we go. One more for the top. Triple decker, just how you like it.
Wow, thanks, Mr. Wong.
You enjoy it.
We will.
The future of Avatar may be on shaky ground. James Cameron is saying that Avatar 4 and 5 can't happen without massive retooling. What does this mean for Disney, who has just invested a whole buttload of money into Avatar-themed theme park lands? We'll talk about it today on That Park Place. All right, Vash, here from thatparkplace.com. This is a VIP article. Normally, you guys have to be VIP members to access it, but it says in Hollywood, few directors can draw audiences based on their name alone. Yet, as the film industry changes, billion-dollar blockbusters are becoming harder to produce. According to World of Real, James Cameron recently suggested on the Empire podcast that making Avatar 4 and 5 may require major adjustments. The last Avatar film, 2025's Fire and Ash, reportedly carried a production budget exceeding $400 million, making it one of the most expensive movies ever produced. That is insane.
Man, that's rough.
Yep. After the film underperformed compared to the franchise's previous $2 billion entries, grossing roughly $1.23 billion worldwide, James Cameron sounded uncertain about the franchise's future. In January, he framed comments about returning cast members around if we make Avatar 4, and added, "We have to do well, and we need to figure out how to make Avatar movies more inexpensively in order to continue." Speaking to Empire, Cameron was even more specific about what future Avatar films would require. At the same time, he remained measured about the prospects. Avatar 4 and 5 are still floating out there. Notably, parts of Avatar 4 have reportedly already been filmed, and the scripts for the remaining films are complete. Even so, his phrasing suggests that the franchise's future is far from guaranteed. He explained that his goal is to make future Avatar films in half the time for 2/3 of the cost. The comment raises questions about what a $267 million Avatar film might look like, whether it could maintain the high standards set by earlier entries. Still, James Cameron sounded optimistic that the goal is achievable, saying it may take a year or so to refine the process. Now, obviously, we're saying, can technology reduce the risk? Producer Ray Sancini assured fans that Avatar 4 and 5 were moving full speed ahead and explained that custom technology similar to Lucasfilm's Volume would help streamline productions. As right now we're figuring out the schedule, we're working hard on budgeting, planning, and building out the new production pipeline. Now, here's the thing. I don't believe, Vash, for 2 seconds that they are not making Avatar 4 and 5.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that they're going to want to continue this franchise here. The question is, can you really do it in a way that's affordable? And I think those conversations are being had with James Cameron, which is why he's saying this, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to go out on a limb here and tell you why James Cameron is saying this. This is my firm belief. I have nothing to base this off of other than just my personal suspicions. Mm-hmm. James Cameron is saying this repeatedly, over and over and over and over again, for one reason and one reason alone. He wants to use AI.
Yeah.
and he knows if he starts using AI for this, he's going to get an avalanche of hate. So he is making this bed over and over and over again. Oh, well, guys, we might not be able to do it. We have to cut these costs by, 2/3. Like, we got to be able to produce it in half the time. And, we got to do this, that, and the other thing. No, it's because he wants to use AI. He has spoken out against AI. He has an ownership stake in an AI company, however, and he wants to use it. And he's trying to be like, well, it was either this or we don't make them.
Right. Which,
aren't you so glad we made them? I mean, like, I'd be happier if you didn't make them, to be perfectly honest.
yeah, I mean, it's they necessarily aren't the event pictures that they were, especially starting out in 2009, right? I mean, back in that day, nobody had ever seen anything like this, and now it's, the 3D era actually has come and gone within the making of this franchise right here. So I do agree with you, Marvin. They're going to need some efficiencies made, especially in that post-production process, to keep these things going. Because at $400 million, if these films aren't generating anywhere near that $2 billion figure, it just simply does not make sense. And it might be a justification in order to use that. Now, I think you can get away with it in the post-production process. I think a lot of actors and so forth, a lot of people connected to Hollywood on the ground, the rank and file and so forth, might have an issue with the actual production process incorporating that. But honestly, I mean, you're right. James Cameron cannot get these made. He will not get these funded if, in fact, they're at these price points.
Mm-hmm. So James Cameron is not a director known for his thrifty films. Like, he's not working on shoestring budgets. Early on, yes. Piranha 2, The Spawning, 1981, $600,000 movie. Terminator, $6.4 million. Aliens, $17 million. The Abyss, $47 million. Terminator 2 Judgment Day in 1991 had a $100 million budget, which in 1991 is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, yeah.
True Lies in 94 was 100 to 110 million. Titanic in 1997 was a $200 million movie. What is I'm going to see real quick. What is $200 million in 1997 in today's money?
I mean, you're talking, it'll probably say something like 350 or something like that.
$414.98 million if that was made today.
That's crazy. That's insane.
That's the equivalent there. Then you have the first Avatar in 2009, $237 million. The Way of Water was $350 to $400 million, and now we're saying Fire and Ash was well over $400 million. This guy cannot make a cheap movie to save his life.
He cannot. And part of the reason is because he's always pushing the realms of technology, pushing the realms of filmmaking and so forth. He's not staying within the
absolutely.
bounds.
I get where it's coming from.
Right. But it's one of those things, Marvin. If you aren't bringing in those box office returns that justify those budgets, I mean, what do you do? And I think, maybe the cultural moment surrounding Avatar may have passed, perhaps with a little bit more time between these films. Perhaps you can reinvigorate that interest in a similar way that Way of Water did following the initial film there. But it's man, that I don't know really where to go with this franchise. Maybe Disney doesn't either. I think Drew Taylor from The Wrap was suggesting that maybe Disney was perhaps rethinking even putting Avatar in Disney California Adventure, because remember they announced that some years ago. So Bob Iger announced that, I think back in February of 2023, if I'm not mistaken, right there. And yet we still haven't broken ground on that specific project. So there is still time to rethink that. I really don't know if these make sense. Now, if Cameron is able to incorporate AI and get these budgets down, perhaps. But again, Hollywood is going to have some big concerns about that.
I mean, it feels like to me almost like them making an Avatar land in Disneyland. It feels almost to me like Universal just suddenly doubling down on Fast and the Furious. Like, you are not timely on this one.
Yes. Yes, indeed. That's exactly what it sounds like. Now, at least in this franchise that we're seeing here, it might have more gas in the tank if they can actually get 4 and 5 out. But like you said, the time certainly has passed. I think the original idea of bringing Avatar to Disney California Adventure, Marvin, that was right off the heels of The Way of Water, which just accrued $2 billion at the box office. That was the most successful franchise that Disney had in its repertoire when Bob Iger came back in. Now, times have changed, 3 to 4 years later here. The whole media landscape has changed. And honestly, when you look at something like this, and you compare that even with Zootopia, which is, breaking box office records and so forth and made for maybe half the cost of this, doesn't quite make sense to go in that direction for the theme parks, especially when you talk about merch and, all those related ancillary sales. Pursuing this franchise, honestly, I don't quite know if it makes sense unless he can get those budgets down. But even if he can, I mean, what's the box office figure going to look like? Even if it's a fantastic film, are these depreciating assets here?
Absolutely. I think it is. I mean, when you make a movie, right? Like when you make a movie franchise like this, you want each installment to draw in more people.
Right.
I'm fairly certain that the Lord of the Rings trilogy made more money with each installment,
Right.
Hold on, let me look
Harry
that up.
Potter.
Lord of the Rings box office. Lord of the Rings movies box office. Fellowship of the Ring made $898 million. The Two Towers made $947 million. The Return of the King made $1.15 billion. They all came out within a 3-year period. That was 2001,
Right.
2, and 3. That is what you want to see. That is all rise.
Versus like Star Wars, for example, right? In this new trilogy that they just had, or or maybe the new assemblage of films, if you include Rogue One and Solo, all of those went down. Right. And that's the current trajectory, unfortunately, of Avatar right now versus Zootopia, for example, that's on the upswing. So you just kind of have to look at it and go, okay, well, Avatar, just to make it, it's going to be 3 to 5 years in order to get to that point, right?
Yep.
But when you look at the theme park space, well, that's even more critical because whatever you build has to be relevant for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, etc.
So, I mean, we're looking at, even let's look at the first Avatar as an event film, right? So maybe it's not fair to judge the other ones on the first one because it was such a revolutionary film. It was the first one to really get 3D correctly. So yeah, maybe The Way of Water doesn't make more than the first Avatar, and maybe that's okay, and maybe that's expected.
Sure.
Fire and Ash should have made more than The Way of Water.
Or been very close to it.
Yeah, and it's nowhere in the same ballpark. I think it was like, wasn't it like a $900 million gap between the two of them?
I mean, 900 to 700 million. I mean, somewhere in that realm. I mean, it was a pretty far off drop for this, and this is, I think, the longest of the Avatar films as well. And remember James Cameron, you guys sit through these big sagas on Netflix and stuff. You can sit through this, and it's like, well, that's going to hurt your box office potential.
You know what I can do when I binge Netflix? I can pause, walk out of the room, do other things. Like,
yes.
So Avatar made $2.92 billion, and obviously it reclaimed the top spot after Endgame ended it.
Right.
And then Way of Water was $2.32 billion, which honestly, I feel like for an event film like that, that's an acceptable drop from one to the other.
Yes. Yeah.
But then
it's 2.3, really. Wow.
2.32. Then Fire and Ash made 1.49.
So that's the 900 you were talking about there.
Yeah, $900 million difference. That is huge, dude. That is several films worth of total box office, like in between the two movies. It's hugely problematic for them.
It couldn't come at a worse time there, Marvin. The reason why Bob Iger approved something like this coming to Disneyland was because, like I said, like all the other franchises had kind of died off by that point. Well, they still haven't restored where Marvel was, where Star Wars was, etc. during the 2010s. And so Marvel's down, Star Wars is down. and now Avatar's down. So basically, your live action stalwarts have all crumbled. And again, this is part of a $70 billion deal for Fox, right? So
I
it's
was
like,
about to say, look at the things that Bob was looking at in terms of marketing, in terms of value for Fox. It was Avatar. Oh, we're going to make billions off of Avatar. And once we can get our hands on the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, we're going to make billions. Well, Avatar, Avatar's on the way down, and you've got the Fantastic Four bombed. So what did you spend all that money for, Bob?
Bob Iger has the opposite of the Midas touch, man.
He really does. He really does. Don't get me wrong. Pixar, great acquisition. Marvel and Star Wars were even great acquisitions, and Marvel was a good generator for quite a while. It's just, it's the wrong people got put in charge of these things, and that's not saying obviously, I don't think I didn't see the latest Avatar. I don't know if it's like virtue signally or whatever. I mean, they are usually pretty environmental films, but I don't think it ever got into like race or anything like that, because how could it? They're blue people. No. But yeah, I think people are just kind of like, yeah, I saw this, I'm kind of done. Like, the story has made no cultural impact on anyone. Jake Sully is no one's favorite fictional character. Like, right. I could, and that's the only one whose name I could tell you. Because it's the easiest milquetoast name ever to remember.
Yeah, I mean, you were good to get Jake Sully right. I don't even think the Terry was the other one. I
don't know. She's the blue lady. That's what everyone calls her.
yes. Well, they're all blue. Look, I actually like the Avatar films. I like Fire and Ash. I really did. I thought maybe it's a little bit really long. It's really emotionally impactful. Maybe it could have been a little bit tighter in that regard. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I did like these films. It's just, like you said, Marvin, it's nobody's favorite. These films haven't necessarily made the big cultural impact that I think you expect from other franchises. I don't even know what revenue streams are like for this when it comes to merchandise and so forth. So all of these things are being weighed on right now by Josh D'Amaro, Thomas Moslem, I'm sure, going, okay, are they going to fund... If we invest billions of dollars into this thing, are they going to fund the Parks and Resorts division, especially coming out of Disneyland, for the foreseeable future? And I don't know if I can confidently say that, Marvin. That's the problem. So
what do you think is the bigger draw for Disneyland, Vash? As somebody who goes to Disneyland quite a bit, knows the fan base, the audience that they have. What makes more money? A Avatar land or bringing in Zootopia?
I think Zootopia would. I've seen demographics there. I've obviously seen. I mean, when Zootopia came out, people were dressing up as tree hops. People had like all kinds of Zootopia merch already on them. Did not see that for when Avatar actually was released. We haven't really seen that from Disney Kingdom either. I mean, outside of the first couple of months where we saw Banshees and so forth, those are going to drop off a little bit in terms of popularity and relevance. So when I look at and again, I think they want to broaden out and make it attractive for international audiences, which Avatar certainly would be attractive for that demographic, but Zootopia would as well. So, and there are rumors suggesting that if they were to bring in like Hot Pursuit, for example, from Shanghai, that uses the same Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway ride system. So both those rides could be maintained at Disneyland Resort, in a much more efficient way, much more better way than perhaps Avatar being installed there. So, like, when you look at all of the things surrounding this, it doesn't quite make sense, Marvin, and that's sad, especially coming from an Avatar fan.
And imagine an Avatar land, right? Compare it to this. This is Shanghai. This is Zootopia in Shanghai.
Right.
This is insane. Look at that. The little hamster wheels, or they're all the little hamster tubes, they're all going through it, and like the billboards, and this is so cool.
It's fantastic.
People would go ballistic for this. And you know who it was, Vash, that oversaw the creation of this land? Our new friend, who's the new president of Walt Disney World.
Oh yes. Yes. Was actually overseeing this resort not only to achieve this milestone with Zootopia, but also to the 100 million guest milestone within 10 years. Pretty darn good surrounding all of this stuff. So Okay, so Joe Scott's in this new position right here. Thomas Moslem obviously oversaw him when he was at various levels of the experiences division. And so it's kind of like, okay, well, he knows better than anybody how much this impacted Shanghai. It did greatly. I mean, this was hugely surveyed, huge marks on this. People really loved it. They've already done it, and it's in an urban environment or an urban setting that currently exists out there in the corner of Hollywoodland. To me, Marvin, it just kind of makes sense. And unless James Cameron can get his act together and get some more movies out, does that even have a future at all, franchise-wise? Versus, we know Zootopia 3 is going to be produced.
Yep, you're 100% right. I mean, let's look at this, man. Look at this. Like, people would go ballistic for this year. And Zootopia just became the highest-grossing animated film of all time. And the only thing domestically in the theme parks that we have is a 3D movie.
Crazy. It's insane.
This should have been greenlit domestically immediately. We should have been getting this instead of Encanto in Walt Disney World.
Yes, no question. I mean, and we were at one point, right, Marvin? When they had the What If segment at the 2022 D23 Ultimate Fan event. Well, that's when they brought out the, hey, we can put Moana here, we can put Zootopia there. And everyone's like, oh, well, that makes perfect sense. And I understand, the Ojo Rudy thing where, this is kind of a human story, not an animal story or whatever. Fine, you can have that argument, but this would make money. I mean, there's no question.
But I push back on that, actually, because there is a lot to talk about in terms of predator and prey and like the biomes, which go through like, how these animals live and go about their days. I don't know, man. I think there's a lot to talk about. I think that like in Animal Kingdom, you could learn a lot about animals through a Zootopia area.
I think you could. I think you absolutely could. It definitely fits in there. Well, again, this is already a themed land, right? Whereas I think Encanto is going to take up residence with largely a pre-existing land. This is a completely new asset for them. Again, it makes sense on paper, and I think it makes sense at DCA as well. It's just, how much does Disney believe in this franchise? I think we'll know if, in fact, the next D23, which is coming up actually this late summer this year, if Disney brings out more concepts for Avatar for DCA, that might actually indicate where they think this franchise is going to be. If they say, hey, we're going a different direction, now you know kind of what's going on the theme park side and the film side, and certainly a reflection of the confidence they may have in this franchise going forward.
Absolutely, guys. Well, guys, I mean, there you have it. That's our 2 cents. With diminishing returns and uncertainty in Avatar's future, Disney might need to look more towards Zootopia than looking to James Cameron for its financial future. We don't have any super chats right now, but I wanted to highlight this. Marie Jade says, I hear Sully and I think Monsters Incorporated. I hear Sully and I think Old Man Who Landed Plane on Hudson. But,
Yes.
Sully Sullenberger, he's a hero.
Absolutely.
Man's a hero. Michael Ray 99 also says, how can it get any better than Vash and Marvin? There you go.
Very true.
I love this stream. I love you and I just go back and forth one-on-one. I think this stream is phenomenal. I really like it. One of the highlights of my week, I would dare say. So, all right, Vash, we have got to talk a bit about, affordability at Walt Disney World, because there might be a way where you can attend Walt Disney World for a lot less money than you'd normally think so. I am vamping because I have to get the actual article up on the screen. So, yes, and we're going to talk about it right now. So let's discuss.
It's showtime! Straight from the heart of the park!
Walt Disney World vacation can cost you big, but what if there was a way to get tickets for just $65 this summer? Is this possible? Let's talk about it today on That Park Place. Vash, this was sent to me by WW Pro. I'm going to be very upfront. I'm going to be very upfront with the audience. I have not read it. So
I'm interested in this.
So this article right here that says the secret to $65 Disney World tickets this summer. might very well say like find a magic lamp and make a wish, or or keep dreaming or something like that. But let's see what it says. If you've been looking for a reason to pack your bags and head towards Cinderella Castle this summer, the most magical place on Earth just gave you a pretty major incentive. Between the high-energy debut of Rockin' Roller Coaster starring the Muppets and the opening of Bluey's Wild World, which, by the way, you need a virtual queue for, the calendar is already packed, but a newly released ticket offer may be the best news yet for locals. According to a report from Disney Food Blog, a massive new value play has arrived for those living in the Sunshine State. Starting on May 17th, which was 3 days ago, Florida residents can get into the parks for as low as $65 a day? That's unheard of. By the way,
That's crazy.
That's what I think the theme parks should just cost in general.
Yes.
For the amount of, like, especially if you're not including Fast Pass, like a ticket to a theme park should be $65 a day. And especially because then you're asked to buy all the add-ons and things like that. And I don't know, man.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with you. I think they should be a little bit cheaper. At least when Disneyland started out, Disneyland was a little bit cheaper initially, actually cheaper than Six Flags back in the day. But they charged more on the back end, obviously. The rides weren't included and so forth. You had to pay for those extra and all of that. So I think they should have kind of a jump in price right there, especially for like Animal Kingdom, for example. Even Magic Kingdom with so much construction going on, it would make sense to go ahead and make it a little bit easier for people to actually walk into that park. So I like your astute observation there, sir.
I feel like if Universal actually makes this a thing where you can go into Celestial Park and then have to pay to get into the actual lands, like if you can just go into Celestial Park for free, or I could see Disney maybe one day doing a concept like that with Main Street USA. Not free, but like maybe like $50 to get in or something like that. And then you just can't go into any of the themed lands after that, because it is with that hub and spoke design that they have for, the entirety of the park. Not do I think they should do this? No. Do I think they will do this? It's possible. I've learned to stop underestimating them. So
that's true.
So the deal runs May 17th through October the 3rd, going through the anniversary of Walt Disney World, allowing guests to grab a 4-day ticket for $259 plus tax. As the blog points out, it's one of the lowest park ticket prices we've seen for this year. Vash, what is the time period of May 17th through October 3rd? What does that encompass?
The fourth quarter for the fiscal year for Disney?
The summer.
Oh, I see. That's
the period of time in which you used to not have to worry about attendance. But as we have pointed out repeatedly, Disney World last summer was an absolute ghost town. It was. I mean, that's the only way to put it. It wasn't just us saying it. The mainstream media pointed it out, but there were some extenuating circumstances.
It was measuring attendance at Disney World on July 4th, which didn't really factor in temperature, which is about 100 degrees and 99% humidity on that day.
Yeah, breaking news, everybody. Central Florida is hot. Thank you, weatherman Bob.
Yeah, exactly. It's what? Hot during the summer? Come on now. Yeah.
Meteorologist Bob Iger on the case.
It's very true. And honestly, I think that's what did Jeff in, that being the same Jeff that was the former president of Walt Disney World, from getting the actual top spot as the chairman of the Experiences Division, because of that brutal summer there.
It was too hot.
No? Well, I was going to say it was too hot, but also too lowly attended, especially when Epic Universe actually opened right there. I mean, it was real dreadful. So perhaps they're gearing up, expecting maybe a similar result this year.
I'm trying to find some of the articles from that park place where we were there last summer, and it was just completely empty, so you guys could see the photos. Hold on.
Maybe you have some around Memorial Day, if I'm not mistaken.
I do, yeah. Memorial Day and 4th of July, I believe, and Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Disney World Labor Day. But yeah, I mean, the summertime, I remember we used to go in the summer, and it was packed when we were kids. Hugely packed.
Yeah, I mean, it there has been a change in mentality And I don't know if this is because of the school schedule being upended in some places or some major markets right there, going to all year round schedules versus summer off or whatever, or if it's just people kind of catching up with the heat and saying, hey, maybe this isn't for us, with how much money is actually being, it's costing to get out there. Not quite sure what the trends are, but if you look at the last 20 years, we have seen just a little bit more action in other months versus summer. And it's unfortunate for those of us who actually went during the summer as kids and so forth. Love this place. But Disney's certainly noticed it, and maybe some of these discounts are a reflection of that.
Yep. So look at this empty Labor Day. This was Labor Day 2025. This was taken by me. I stood there and took this photo.
Indeed.
And this was part of a video that I took that Pro has shown repeatedly, and we do a full 360 in this. You can see that there are just no people there. I mean, this was September 2025. Look at the entrance hub. There's nobody there. This is Labor Day. This is a 3-day weekend.
It's insane.
Look at the wait times. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes on Tron, 10 minutes on Space Mountain. This was insane. Here's some more. Like, this was during, I think this might have been during a castle show. Yeah, because there's people out there watching the castle show. Look how deserted it is during the show. And then, this was part of the reason why, probably. And then things like this, the industrial fans. But then if we look back, also in September of last year, Magic Kingdom crowds were at a level 1. So you look, crowds were at a level 1 and 2 on that day. So you saw these were the ride wait times. And this was done by WW Passport, which does amazing work on tracking those crowd levels. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train was under an hour. Space Mountain 35. Tiana's Bioadventure 25. Tron Light Cycle Run 40 minutes. That's insane. Epcot had a crowd level of 4 because people were getting their drink on.
It's so interesting. Well, I just find it so interesting to see this at the ground level, right? Because Marvin, we've been tracking this for forever. I know you've done some excellent reporting over there at that park place to really bring us all of this data, as we're seeing on screen right now, of the previous summers right there. Remember, Hugh Johnston, though, at the last earnings call said that, we plan to lap Epic Universe and so forth. Our bookings look very, very solid.
Yeah.
On the ground, though, this does not necessarily suggest that you're doing very solid when you're having to discount tickets to this extent, especially after a disastrous summer in which nobody was actually there. Are you expecting similar or even worse results? It kind of suggests they are.
Well, so, I mean, and this was, so people will, scream at us about, this was, by the way, 4th of July, 2024. And 4th of July, 2024, it was mostly also deserted. You see, these are photos from Lorena's live stream that day. She was sending me photos during the day, and these were the wait times at 3 o'clock.
Crazy.
Look at this: 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Kilimanjaro Safari, 5 minutes. Star Tours, 5 minutes. Then we had 35 for Enchanted Tales. We had 45 at Princess Fairy Tale Hall. 15 minutes for PhilharMagic, 35 for Small World, 50 for Peter Pan's Flight, 60 for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. This was the 4th of July. Vash, if you'll remember, I was there on the 4th of July last year, and they were taking walk-ins for Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique.
I remember that.
A location. Yeah, it was a location that you used to have to read blogs about how to get the reservation.
It was stunning to see the results last year, and I understand there are some videos out there saying, "Oh well, these guys got it wrong. I went. It was very, very packed and so forth." There certainly was some oscillation there, but overall, if you look at the trend line, it was down. There's no getting around it, guys. I mean, we have the wait time data in order to compare, and these parks have largely stayed the same. If not, Marvin, it was actually worse because there were less rides to go around, right?
Well, and so this is, by the way, 4th of July 2025, which you can see is even less. So take a look at here. Sure. This was Liberty Square. 4th of July in Liberty Square, and this is how empty it was. Pirates of the Caribbean walk on, Haunted Mansion walk on, Speedway walk on, Peter Pan's Flight 40 minutes, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train 55, Tiana's 30, Space Mountain 40, Jungle Cruise 35, Tron Light Cycle Run only attraction over 1 hour at just 65. This was Frontierland at the time. And then we had this Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique walk-up opportunities available today. And yes, people did try to say we were lying. Oh, I went and it was crowded. And yeah, you went near fireworks time. You know what Disney doesn't want? People walking up for fireworks. That's it.
Correct.
They want you there the whole day. They want you to rope drop this and spend your entire day there because, you know, like that's where you spend the money. You just showing up to watch fireworks doesn't do Disney any favors.
Right. So what are they doing in this case, Marvin? Instead of discounting annual passes or anything like that, in the Florida area, you can get in at a discounted price. What most people are going to do in that instance, they're probably not going to have annual passes of their own. And so if they go, they're going to spend all day there, right? And in this case, it's, well, even though they're getting it at a cheaper price, it's better than not having bodies at all. So the hope is that they actually stay there all day, which I think they would if they're paying for day passes there, and get multiple bites of the apple when it comes to food, merchandise, etc. Like you said, Marvin, they don't want people just showing up there after 6 or whatever and just taking advantage of the entertainment. They want you there all day.
Or going to one of the resorts and just like, maybe paying to park in the parking lot and then walking over to the Polynesian and watching the fireworks from there, which I'm not telling you to do, but I'm saying it's a thing you can do. To see the fireworks for $25 instead of $125.
Sure.
They also play the music there, which is really nice. Or just even watching it from the ferry boat dock at the TTC, another thing that I'm not telling you to do, but you want to do.
How is the view over there? Actually,
it's actually that is my fireworks spot. Like,
really?
You can hear the music coming over from the Polynesian to an extent. It's not super loud, but you have a full view of the castle. It's a more unobstructed view for the fireworks than the Polynesian has.
Wow!
From the ferry boat dock. So even if from the ferry boat dock, you walk up the hill a little bit by where the monorail hill is, the hill going up to the monorail, there is like a white bench that runs along the side of that hill that you could just kind of sit at and watch, and there's never anybody
Beautiful.
there. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Beautiful.
But let's take a look at this about these $65 tickets here. Florida residents can. Okay, that's copyrighted music, so we're not going to do that. Thank you, Instagram. All right, so it looks like this is not going to give us any actual thing other than Florida residents can experience summer fun with a Disney summer ticket for $65 a day when you purchase 4 days. So for the family of 4 in Florida who's like, hot dog, we can go to Disney for a day for $65. No, you cannot. You can go for 4 days with your family and spend, $1,000.
Right.
But, it's not that.
But I mean, look, I mean that's a pretty incredible deal when compared to daily tickets and so forth. Even if you were actually spending like 10 days there, I don't even think in that case they can get you down to 65. I would have to check my math, I suppose. But this is quite the deal, and to be so aggressive when trying to get that minimum price point of their price elasticity strategy. It doesn't suggest to me, Marvin, that this summer's going to be all that healthy, which, well, we kind of expected given how aggressive they were in getting some of these overlays and redos done, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad up and so forth, all in time for this summer season. They're doing all they can in order to mitigate, well, the construction and expansion efforts that these parks are currently experiencing.
It's time for my summer season. But the savings do not stop at the turnstiles, apparently. If you're looking to turn that park day into a full-blown staycation, there are some deep discounts hitting the resort hotels as well. Florida residents can save up to 35% on Disney Resort Collection stays most nights during that same May to October window. If you're eyeing a longer retreat or of 4 nights or more, you can snag that full 35% off at heavy hitters like Animal Kingdom Lodge and Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. Even for a shorter 1 to 3 night weekend getaway, the blog notes you'll still see savings of up to 30% on select deluxe and moderate resorts. So there you go, man. They're not only they're trying to pull in the locals, and that's the big thing here, is that this is for locals. It's not for everybody.
Not for everybody, and it's interesting how they would look at locals because obviously they're looking at it and going, okay, well, our annual pass holder base locally isn't completely saturated. There might be some interested in this. We're not giving away the whole farm here, but these, anybody who's local is not going to stay at your resort hotels. That's another interesting aspect of this.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, there you go. If you are a Florida resident, you might be able to go to Disney's Magic Kingdom for a much, much lower price this summer as they try to beef up the crowds and not have the quote unquote ghost town that the mainstream media and us pointed out. Well, us first pointed out last year. But remember, if you are going to take advantage of it, there are some caveats. Some super chats here. Vash Doge Pal for 2 says, "Why did so many people show up for Avatar?"
Well,
I don't know.
It was.
I couldn't tell you. I don't understand what the appeal is.
You have to put yourself back in 2009, right? Nobody had really ever seen a 3D picture before, especially in that scale, that quantity, that
at least
with that
not
quality.
one that did it as well. It was Kevin Apollo always says about Avatar. He goes, "It was the first movie." Now, it wasn't the first 3D movie, but it was the first movie to do 3D right.
Yep.
And now every movie does 3D right. The 3D movie craze also died out. I mean, you remember like MCU Phase 1, I mean, like 3D movies were like the thing. Everybody wanted to go to 3D movies, except for me. I didn't like it. I was like, you're now giving me like apparel that has to be worn to experience the movie. Like, I don't want this.
Yeah, right. I mean, it just didn't. I think at that time, and I was looking at a retrospective of this recently. James Cameron was like, "Hey, how can we sell to investors of this like a way to get people back into the theaters and pay extra for them, right? Because people even back then were starting to move away from theaters and that theatrical experience." And so there's a way to kind of kill two birds with one stone. Need a proof of concept. Avatar was certainly it. And there was a real big craze for a while. But again, we have kind of moved past that, which is really interesting. And maybe for the reasons why people showed up for Avatar in 2009, maybe are also the reasons why they didn't show up in 2025.
Well put, Vash. Well put. That's why you have 5,000 subscribers as fast as you have. WJB Daily for $2 says military pass to USFL is $220 a year for 2 parks.
Big stuff.
USFL, by the way, being Universal Studios Florida, guys.
Absolutely.
So there you go. That's for Universal and Islands of Adventure. Metalcore Breakdown for $199. Way back in the day, summer was hot and huge crowds. Well, I mean, that's not really fair to say because like there are some things you have to do.
It was measuring attendance at Disney World on July 4th, which didn't really factor in temperature, which is about 100 degrees and 99% humidity on that day.
I always wonder if he's talking about us in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we did get that ball rolling. So, not the ridiculous statement that might once have been, Vash, because I don't know if you saw, I did just get cited in the Hollywood Reporter the other day.
Really? Well,
yes,
fantastic. Congratulations.
They cited my report on geeksandgamers.com about the totally spontaneous Mandalorian and Grogu Pedro Pascal appearance in front of totally normal Disney guests. Of course, they defended Disney. They were like, Disney never said it wasn't influencers. I'm like, well, yeah, but they also didn't say that it was influencers. They also could have done this for Make-A-Wish kids. So
that's a great point right there. And we do know that Bob Iger had some, maybe some accounts, the burner accounts and so forth. There's some alt accounts that he used to look at content on. And there's
could you imagine Bob Iger as a Twitter troll?
That's amazing. He could have been watching us. So to your point, Marvin, that could have been a comment, directed at us. Which
it could have been. It really could have been. We've been cited now. That Park Place and geeksandgamers.com have now been cited by the federal government and the Hollywood Reporter. So the sky's the limit as to how far we can do that. And that's not to pat ourselves in the back, but it's just saying like the new media is getting out there, man. It really is. But Bob Iger, man, you got to remember he's a very experienced individual.
Do you have a bit of experience in that arena?
If you consider failure experience.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah. Just
I didn't kill Han Solo. Wokeness killed Han Solo.
sorry, I just had to get that one out there. I didn't have a cool way to get that one out there, but me and being here for 199, can I recommend a sci-fi universe / author? Yes, of course, please. Please recommend it and we will show it.
Put it on in.
Yeah. Chef Eddie says, have you covered the Beardo Cooper feud yet? We need in-depth coverage. No, I'm pretty sure if you wanted to see that, you could check out Tuesday Night's main event from last night. I haven't watched it, but I'm sure they were brutal last night. Star Wars Nikki says, Marv, loved your reaction with Wiz when you saw that Hollywood Reporter. Yeah, so I found out about it live on the air with Real Life.
Really?
Yeah, we were doing Culture Crossfire at the time. Actually, I have the clip if you want to see it.
Please.
Because we're going through the Hollywood Reporter story, and they cite one fan site, and I'm looking at it, and I said, hey, click that because those words actually look kind of familiar. So hold on, let me pull it up.
That'd be fun
because it's right at the beginning. So we're doing clips of Culture Crossfire now that air on both of our channels, and so it's in the most recent clip. Culture Crossfire, yeah. I love Culture Crossfire. It's definitely become one of my favorite things to do all week. But here you go. Here's me finding out about the Hollywood Reporter thing. Click on that link that says site wrote.
Let's see. Where does it go?
Because I wrote that. That's my what? The Hollywood Reporter is citing me?
Yes!
I feel dirty. So
oh wow.
Yeah, so that was me finding that out like right at the like that was a completely legit reaction. It was yeah, that was really, really funny.
That's pretty great. That's pretty fantastic.
The Titus the Accuser is asking, Marv, are you and the Pro Crew going to see Mandalorian and Grogu? I believe we're pretty much all seeing it. I'll be seeing it. I will be seeing it tomorrow afternoon. I think Pro's seeing it tomorrow evening. So yeah, we will all be seeing it. Lauren, I think is not seeing it until Friday. When are you seeing it?
I'm gonna try for this weekend if I can. I think it's very important to see this, at least where I'm at, because Marv, the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run update relies so heavily on it. I kind of want to see what the connections are to be made with that attraction.
Me and being here for $20. Thank you so much, man. Says, sorry if I'm being weird. I reached out over email. I think I have a sci-fi universe, New York Times bestselling. If that helps, you guys might be interested in. It might be cool to have the author on. It's called Galaxy's Edge. Well, I mean, I don't love that name, but but yes, I will check it out. I will definitely check it out, man. And I will. I'm always looking to spotlight authors, especially. And if it's good enough, I can even send it to Caro, and maybe we could do a panel for panel episode on it because we do like to do that. And he says author is Jason and Spock, so I'm assuming that's how you say that name. So everyone go look that up. I Lady Jedi says, hey Marv, don't know if I've said it before, but your music for all your channels is too rad. Definitely music to work out to. Oh, thank you. I am going to be uploading it as member content soon. All the music just as like regular songs. So that will include Culture Crossfire and the M4 Empire song, the M4 Empire gaming song, etc. So
that's cool.
Glad you're enjoying it though. Really glad you're enjoying it. And then we just debuted the Crime and Punishment song for our true crime podcast, which is member exclusive, and that song people really liked. So yeah, all right, Vash, we have got one more story to get to before we head over to your channel for your 5,000 subscriber celebration. Cannot hype enough just how amazing that is that you have accomplished this wonderful thing.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing.
I'm beyond proud of you, buddy. You are doing so well. You're killing it. You are kicking all kinds of booty, and it's incredible. So everybody, make sure that you're going to be redirected. So just hang with it and fly through to the Vash Sky Parkcast for 2 p.m. But let's take a look, Vash, at our final grand finale for today.
I just can't wait for 3 days of you.
The animation courtyard is taking form over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and now we've got the soundtrack to go along with it. Does the music live up to the huge, huge shoes that it's trying to fulfill from the original animation courtyard from Disney's MGM Studios years ago? Well, let's find out today on That Park Place. Vash, I've said it before on this show. I'm excited for this. I'm happy for this. I think this is a return to form for Hollywood Studios. Like, we're getting back into what it's supposed to be. And I'm excited for any kind of new news about this Walt Disney Studios courtyard.
Same. I think getting back to the roots of this park, I think is a very good thing. And with such an underutilized space, truly underutilized, not the Jeff Valley, underutilized, I think it's a worthwhile effort to restore this and to imbue some modern animation touches there as well.
All right, so it says Walt Disney Imagineering has shared a behind-the-scenes video showing the recording process for the background music that will play throughout the new Walt Disney Studios courtyard at Disney's Hollywood Studios. The video features Brett, Senior Creative Director of Music at Walt Disney Imagineering, who explains how background music is used as a storytelling tool to guide guests through the space. Let's take a look at this from Instagram, for the Walt Disney Imagineering Instagram. Let's take a look at what Brett has to say here.
We were in the recording studio, and now we're going to put it here in the field.
All right, so it's Whistle While You Work right away, which, I mean, I guess it makes sense that this is... So, by the way, we have, Pro said we're good to play this because it's theme park music, so it should be fine. So if we get copyright struck, it's not me and Vash's fault.
Okay.
But,
right. Just make it clear.
Yep. Just wanted to let you know. Nobody be like, oh, Marvin Vash are trying to torpedo the channel. Nope, that's not the case. That is not the case.
Background music is such a powerful storytelling tool because it really sets you in the environment. What we're doing is we're really just trying to set the mood of what that environment is. Sound, effects, and music helps to guide our guests through spaces, and we do that by using various tempos, by using various effects. Sometimes we might dim the music and bring it up in a separate area to bring your attention.
So, like, I get that everyone has to wear the PPE. It's just so weird to see a composer in full PPE talking about music.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, for PPE, we mean personal protection equipment.
Right.
Attention to that area.
Got.
Is it really kind of an active construction zone still?
Probably not, but I guess until it's open, I guess everybody by OSHA requirements is supposed to be wearing this.
I guess so.
Remember, it's OSHA that requires this, not May.
Right.
From the Acolyte
area. And as you know, Disney has a wealth of films dating back years to pull from. Wow, I can't believe they played that song. So I'm hoping they have as much fun listening.
This sounds very simplistic. It's
yes.
Like dun 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 dun, like
to it as I have making it, and I hope you enjoy it.
All right, we're not going to hear the full music then, I guess.
I guess not.
I guess not. So there you go. That's a little bit of the background music. Now, here's the thing. Background music, incredibly important in theme parks, particularly Walt Disney World and Disneyland, I would say. Mm-hmm. What would you say are some of the best background musics you've ever heard?
And one of my favorites used to be, I got to be honest, it's the Splash Mountain background music loop that used to... you used to hear in the areas surrounding the various Splash Mountains in both respective parks right there. I think Disneyland's was really phenomenal. That arrangement was so legendary right there, and unfortunately, went away. I remember a lot of people, Marvin, actually having strong reaction to when Main Street USA had its background music loop changed as well. I think that was back in the 2010s, if I'm not mistaken, right there, maybe 2012 or that area. People, they really have a connection to these spaces. Part of that's through music.
Yep. I will raise you one. Wonders of Life.
Oh,
I mean, and so here's one of my favorite things to do though, Vash. I like to come to these kinds of videos right here where it's just like a background loop of the area music.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you just get this amazing, like Wonders of. Oh, this right here. This right here. This was the music that I loved. I managed to click right on it. Do you remember
Such
this?
a time and place. Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
remember- Like, I have such a like. I hear this music, and I get this vivid memory of like being there with my brother who was a baby at the time, and him running around and laughing, and his laugh was like echoing. And like this, it was just. I'm not going to play too much of it because who knows? You know, we should be able to play it, but who knows if we can or not. Also, the original Epcot loop. I don't know if it was original, but the one that they had before they retooled Epcot.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
The Epcot Future World loop. Because there was nothing like walking into Future World with that music playing.
It was very interesting to hear about the construction of Epcot and how music played a central role in the experiences that you would actually have, and how they brought in like composers and so forth to compose individual pieces for all of the various pavilions and so forth in the countries. And Disney had never really done anything like that at that scale, at that level before, and we still have those musical passages kind of emblazoned in our brain right here, and it takes you back to a time and place, which is why I was so surprised when Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, for example, didn't have any of that connective tissue to the John Williams scores that you heard from the films.
You know, it's so funny because when I saw the when I saw the clips from Disneyland of the John Williams score playing in Galaxy's Edge, it created I'm looking at the same Millennium Falcon that I've been looking at now for years, right?
Sure.
And it looked different. It looked different because that music was playing. That is
different mode.
Disney World at its core is supposed to be a multi-sensory experience, right?
Yes.
Like it's supposed to be everything you can see, everything you can hear, everything you can smell. I mean, like it was always supposed to be all that. That's why they pump out the smell from places like the confectionery on Main Street. Like that's not a real smell that you're smelling. That's completely artificial. But like here, Future World loop. You were ready to go in there and create, innovate, and inspire.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hearing that just gave me this pang of loss. Like that music right there, like that just like that hit a chord in me. Like there was just that like I'm just remembering walking around by Interventions and hearing that music specifically. It's just
I'm instantly walking around Epcot at 12 years old when that music plays. It's crazy how just it can really take you back there. Yeah. And so background music is so unbelievably important. Even with like Adventures Campus, for example, at Disney California Adventure, a lot of people, they first hear that and it's like, it sounds pretty good, but the loop is so short. It doesn't feature a lot of the Marvel scores that you would think would be incorporated into a land like that. People have a visceral reaction when going in there now that is kind of off-putting because of that music. And in a land that, doesn't have a lot going for it, to be off-put because of the music choice there is really profound. Yeah. And so it can either make you love a space or even hate a space, just given the musical choices there within.
So I remember when Soarin' changed, Soarin' Around the World, we had virtually no information about what was going to be happening, right? And I remember everybody was really nervous because they thought they were going to get rid of the music.
Loop.
The boom, boom, and thankfully they didn't. Right. And look, I have not watched the ride through of Soarin' Around America yet, but yeah. So we'll see if they keep it. I'm sure they did. I did see the older Patrick throwing to the younger Patrick. Did you see that?
I did. So
it's Patrick Warburton just being like as himself now, just being like I'm your captain, Patrick, and he goes, now for more safety we're gonna throw it to this young stud, and it's him younger. Doing the, hold on to hats, glasses, and these little beauties.
It's a little strange. It's a little.
Vash, speaking of music, sure. I kind of need to highlight something right now. T.N. Christie says, just got back from Walt Disney World trip. And they're playing Zippity Doodah on the buses.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
I was honestly shocked.
Huh.
That's huge.
That's a massive deal because they have scrubbed this from almost every single place that you can possibly hear this song. I was also surprised when back in 2023 when I visited, they were playing like Laughing Place and a couple of other tracks on the actual boats, but Zippity Doodah, that track in particular has been, a no-go for Disney. So the fact that we can hear it anywhere is shocking.
So Bob is out and Zippity Doodah is back in. You think that's Thomas Maslam? Do you think that's Josh? Like, what do you think?
Well,
talk about the importance
down.
of music.
Yeah, importance of music for sure. So Josh, we have heard, is not really a fan of some of this postmodernism that we've been seeing within the company as a whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so with the political burden that the company used to have on it when Bob Iger was in charge, that may have been lifted with Josh D'Amaro now. And maybe Thomas Maslam's saying, you know what? Let's give them what they want. It's possible. It would be an interesting thing.
So this was, Tia and Christy, I just want to confirm, this was the buses you said? They're playing on the bus? Because if so, I might need to just start riding the bus loop until I hear it, just to confirm.
Absolutely.
God, I would hate that. Like, I hate the Disney bus so much. Like...
I know you don't like the monorails. I can only imagine what you think about the buses.
Dude, I used to, when I was just a vacationer, when I would just go, I loved the monorail. I loved the bus. I loved the boat. Like, I loved all the train. Now that I live here, man, I'm just like, and whenever we stay at a Disney resort, we have the car. And so my wife will be like, oh, well, do you want to just like take the bus? And I'm like, no. Because I don't want to wait for the bus. I don't want to wait for the bus at the end of the day. Yeah. So, you're saying,
Marvin, you might have to bite the bullet there. And
first Main Street, next fixing Splash Mountain. Let's go. Wolfram McGruffalo says, "Is Marv reading a chat?" Of course, I read the chat. You guys think I don't read the chat during the live stream? Of course, I read the chat.
He reads that chat.
You have to read the chat. The chat is your lifeblood. The chat is everything. And you know what? I think to end this segment right. Oh, hold on. We heard it while riding from Animal Kingdom Lodge to the Magic Kingdom. That's insane. You know what, Vash? I think this one comment probably sums this up perfectly. It's a brand new tomorrow. All right, man. We are done for today, man. That is a huge revelation to end on.
Yeah.
Zippity Doodah being played in the resort loop. I am going to have to confirm this. I'm going to have to go ride the bus loops and try to hear Zippity Doodah play, get some footage of it, because man, that's incredible. We're going to need to do a full report on that.
Absolutely. Animal Kingdom Lodge to Magic Kingdom. Got to get on that bus, Marvin.
Really quick though, James All Day was asking us how he thought Joe Schott would be as Walt Disney World president, and I honestly think he's going to be solid, because he has been running the one division of Disney where they still do everything correctly, and that is the cruise line. And he facilitated success at Shanghai and facilitated success at Paris. So I don't know, Vash, do you disagree with me?
Well, I don't mean to keep anybody in suspense, but James All Day, if you want to go ahead and hear my thoughts, well, you're going to have to listen to Vash Sky Podcast, because we're going to be breaking down Joe Scott in a big way. We're going to go over pretty much 40 years of his history right there and really see what he might actually bring to Walt Disney World in the future.
Absolutely. Because, guys, without any further ado, we're going to have to end the show there. So Vash can get over to his show and kick off his 5,000 subscriber celebration. Super exciting. Big congratulations. Hugely proud of you, my friend. And you deserve every bit of success that you are getting in such a short amount of time. And that, I think, is the crazy thing. What you're doing is not just difficult, it's impossible. And yet you've done it. So I think that is incredible.
Well, no, it's only possible through the support of you, Marvin, of WWE Pro, of Jonas J. Campbell, if everybody is part of the That Park Place extended community, the people who actually watch us, the subscribers, that's who really make all of this possible right here. I'm just really, I don't know, the person by which all of these things are happening around, but it's really you guys that make it.
Don't sell yourself short, my friend. You've earned every bit of success you got coming to you guys. Make sure you subscribe to Vash Sky Podcast. You're gonna all be redirected there in a moment. But also, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel, the M4 Empire, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, earlier start time. Because we're gonna go for 2 full hours from 9 to 11. You will be able to hear Culture Crossfire with myself and the Real Life Fake Wizard, talking about all the biggest news of the day. So make sure you tune into the Crossfire. Then tomorrow night, you're going to have a double whammy. You're going to have the M4 cast at 8 p.m., followed by a special episode of the Pro Show with WW Pro, which will be over on talking about the Mandalorian review. So thank you guys very much. And make sure you subscribe to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.